Good evening and welcome to Patch's Town Talk. I'm Ashley Troutman, editor of North Reading Patch, and tonight co-hosting with me is Les Masterson, regional editor for Patch. And tonight we are going to be talking to the Selectmen candidates. We have Steve O'Leary, incumbent, who was first elected to the board in 1988, and he's only taken a few years off since then. Joe Foti, who is a director of public works for the city of Chelsea and is a member of the MWRA Board of Directors and chairman of the North Reading Water Commission. And Maureen Harty-Vacca, who is a registered lobbyist and former chairman of the Finance Committee and former member of the School Committee. We're going to talk to the candidates today for everyone at home to get to know them a little bit better. We're going to ask them several questions and give them 90 seconds each to answer and a 30-second rebuttal. We'll also have 2-minute closing statements for each candidate. So let's get right into it. The first question will be, what's the best thing about North Reading and what would you like to see change? And we'll start with the incumbent, Steve O'Leary.
The best thing is certainly the people here in North Reading. I mean, location-wise, we're located in a perfect position, close to 93, 128, 95, within 20 minutes of everybody and anything. 25 minutes on a good day, out of Boston. But the people in the community are the ones who really make up the pulse of the community. And we have a lot of people who volunteer. I mean, we wouldn't have the resources that we currently enjoy without the volunteerism, the people committing their time and resources to get it done. The electorate, the people that vote, I mean, if you just look what happened in the last couple of weeks, we had an overwhelming vote in favor of a new combined middle school, high school, which shows a commitment to the community, by the community, to our educational system, our infrastructure. It really is the people, the culture that we've developed over the years, the pride we have in the community, and it's a great place to live, great place to raise a family. I've raised our 2 boys here, and it's just an all-around great place to live.
And what you would like to see change?
What I would like to see changed? I'd like to see a little bit more economic development as far as the business community. I'd like to see it a little bit more vibrant, but I think we had, once again, and as we have over the past, take a measured approach as to what we're going to do and how we're going to accomplish that. So, I think we need to support our local businesses and enhance the ability for people to come in here and do business in town.
Mr. Foti?
It's funny, I grew up in Somerville, but I've been coming up to North Reading since I was a small boy. I have family here, and it's someplace that I always thought I wanted to live when I could afford to buy a house. I agree with Steve. The people here are it makes you feel at home. From the day I moved in here, it was great to sit with my neighbors and talk to them. The volunteerism in town is just phenomenal. I've been involved in many different aspects in town as far as sports, and the people who are involved just really care about what's going on in town. Again, the recent vote for the schools, it makes it great to know that we came to a decision together to build new schools for our kids. And it's a great place to raise a child. I mean, my wife and I, when we decided to start looking for a place to live, North Reading was on the top of our list because we knew we wanted to raise our daughter here. As far as change, I don't think we need a lot of change as far as the community itself goes. I love the way the town is situated. I love how quiet it is, but I think we need to bring in some more development. And the purpose of bringing in more development is we have so many open spots on Route 28 and on Concord Street. And I believe that if we start to build up our business end of the town, separate from our residential part, I think we could compete with any community. And this community is phenomenal. I think we just need to add a little bit, maybe some shops and some restaurants, and it'll make it as competitive as any community around.
Thank you. Ms. Harty-Vacca?
The best thing about North Reading is the community. There is a power and a sense of community. And whether you get involved in a community such as the yard sale initiative that's going to support the seniors, or if you come together in a community around parks and recreation that has preschool programs or built us a beautiful turf field, or if you come in a community that supports the schools, and even those that are coming together in a community to address the negative aspects like the ongoing drug issue that we have in our community, whatever it is, whether it's something to support or something to tackle, the people in North Reading aren't shy about getting involved. If there was anything that I would change, it would be our emphasis on senior housing. I think we need to rev up our efforts to increase senior housing. And I would also think that we should make a better effort in eliminating user fees, whether they exist in the schools or for the trash pickup. I think we can do a better job as a community to address those.
Thank you. Next question. There are a lot of open businesses in town, and if elected, what would you do to bring new businesses to North Reading? Mr. O'Leary, you'll be first.
Want to try it again? Okay.
Oh, actually, why don't we rotate then?
Yeah, that's
if
fine.
that's okay. So,
Whatever you
Mr.
want.
Foti, you'll go
Okay.
first.
All right. As I stated earlier, there are a lot of open businesses in town. I think we as a community need to realize that our business owners and small business owners are a part of the community. I'm a product of a small business owner. My parents owned a restaurant in the North End for almost 30 years. I worked there every day. You don't know what you're going to do on any given day. I'd get a phone call today saying it's time to do the dishes because dishwasher didn't show up, or it's time to cook because the chef's not feeling well. So I think we need to first communicate with the Chamber of Commerce that we're willing to work with them and bring them in and bring all the stakeholders in and figure out a way of making it so we can make them feel welcome, get those get those open storefronts occupied. And one part of that is, again, going to wastewater. I think if we bring wastewater in, you're going to start to see those stores open. I work for a community, Chelsea, that 15 years ago, no one wanted to go there. The last 15 years, the time and effort that the senior staff has put in together, and me being a member of the senior staff, has brought in all sorts of development. We have our second hotel being built. We have the FBI headquarters, New England headquarters being built. We have the largest grocery store on the East Coast in Market Basket. And this is all as we come together as a team, figure out how we're going to bring these businesses in and make them welcome. And sometimes it's doing infrastructure work for them. Sometimes it's just making them feel like they belong.
Ms. Harty-Vacca?
Certainly providing sewage in our town would attract larger developments, especially in the large tracts of land along Concord Street or at the Berry property, and it would really benefit the Route 28 corridor. In addition, we should make sure we don't have restrictive policies that make it difficult for small businesses to exist in our town. A couple of years ago, we had an ongoing issue with shoveling sidewalks, and that was restrictive. Certainly businesses know if they want people to come in that they need to do that. And as a community, we can support our small businesses. It's tough economic times. People are going out to dinner less often, and we just have to remember that our businesses support all the fundraisers in town, and we really should make an effort to support them. And so I think the approach to economic revival in North Reading is multifolded. And with the Chamber of Commerce and with our economic development team and with the Community Planning Commission, we can work on each one of those levels.
Mr. O'Leary?
A few things. Yes, we do have some vacant storefronts, and part of that is due to the economy. But we also have some pretty vibrant sections of town too, where the landlords have done a very good job of making sure that they were able to maintain the services that they need for their tenants to thrive. But under my tenure here as a member of the board a few years back, in my initiative, we formed a development team whereby local businesses and property owners, commercial property owners, can come into town hall, meet with our development team, which is all of our inspectional services departments and some of the elected board members, all in one room at one time, present their plans, which would help facilitate the permitting process. That in and of itself has helped streamlining the process and get them in here and get some feedback immediately on their plans has been terrific. The new Economic Development Committee that we're in the process of filling vacancies on, I'm hoping is going to really revitalize the way we look at things. Sewerage, it's a long way away. It's 5 to 10 years away if we can even afford to do it at this particular time.
Hello,
so
everyone.
that would certainly help.
Heat's not
On our economic
Hands sounds
development.
good, but heat's
So,
not.
other than that, I think we're good. Thank you.
Excellent.
That's the town administrator that just came by. So.
That was our enthusiastic town administrator who just came in and
Who
interrupted
works
us.
late hours.
Working overtime.
He still works.
And look how enthusiastic he is. Yeah.
Okay. All three of you seem to support bringing a wastewater treatment facility or sewerage to town, and that would increase economic growth. And if you were elected to the board, what would you do specifically to try and bring that to town? Should we start with you, Ms. Harty-Vacca?
With me. Well, we know that when the proposal was submitted to the state, they wanted us to start with Martins Pond neighborhood, and certainly that would bring about a quality of life, an improved quality to our neighbors in that area. However, it's very cost prohibitive. So I think we need to go back. It's a solid plan. It's the rollout of the plan and the financing of that plan that needs to be addressed, and I think we need to find a way to get the state to invest a little bit more. At present cost would be very prohibitive to residents, particularly given the $100 million school project that we just approved. So I think it doesn't have to go back to the drawing board, but the financing and the timeline certainly needs a new look.
Thank you. Mr. O'Leary?
An awful lot of work's already been completed in relation to a standalone package treatment plant and sewage facility in our own community. That project that's now on the drawing board is somewhere between $48 and $50 million project, extremely expensive, and of course we have to work at how are we going to finance that. Most of it is going to be financed through the user fees, direct user fees and betterments for people that have the sewage system going right in front of their front door. But the community as a whole will also be making a portion of the investment. So it's going to be part of the tax base, and it's going to be costly. So we have to make sure that we educate the public as to what the return is going to be. We have to go back to the state and just insist that the only way that this is going to become viable is if we're allowed to construct this on the Concord Street, Route 28 passages first, rather than the residential area up in Martins Pond. Otherwise, the cash flow won't work. And we won't be able to sell it to the community, and we won't be able to get it done, and we'll remain stagnant. If we go to the MWRA, or as a combination of the two, again, that's costly, because if you look at what the MWR rates have gone significantly up over the last few years, you look what the people in Reading are paying as opposed to what we're paying for things, that too is something that we have to work on. Along with the sewage has to come the ability to have more water, because if we're going to have economic development, we're going to need a greater source of water, and the MWRA may be a source of that also.
Mr. Foti?
Okay. My background for the last 22 years has been in infrastructure work. I was director of public works. I'm currently director of public works in Chelsea. When I was in Somerville 15 years, I was superintendent of water and director of operations for the DPW. And I'm also on the board of directors of the MWRA and the wastewater chairman. So I do have a background in wastewater and water. I did look at the current proposal, and I first off think that building our own treatment plant is probably going to be restrictive and very, very expensive. Once it's built, they're very expensive to run, and I don't think you want that type of building in town. So I think you're better off looking at other sources, MWRA, going through Andover to Lawrence. I agree that we need to start looking at doing Concord Street and 28 first. I know that the DEP wants us to look at Martins Pond first. I actually, in my current capacity, have a relationship with DEP. I'm on the board of directors with the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs, and I would be willing to meet with them to discuss the possibility of starting with 28 and Concord Street, so we could get that going, get some economic development in here, get some financing into the town, and then look at doing Martins Pond. I think that's the only way it's going to work. And I think we have to come together with the state as a partner and try and figure out how we can start with 28 and Concord Street first, and then help the residents once we get that developed and get some financing in town.
Did any of you want to add anything else with their 30-second rebuttal?
No.
Oh. Okay, Les?
Okay, thanks, Ashley. First question from me, Steve. There have been concerns lately about the Selectmen's meetings and the tone of the meetings. Do you think it's a problem, and how do you think the Selectmen should fix it if it is a problem?
Well, I've served with over 25 different people as a member of the board, and again, every single one of them is well-intended.